Hi friends, welcome back to my crafty desk. My name is Sandra with Blossom and Inspire, and today we are going to attempt for the millionth time, only the first time that I'm actually going to publish a recording on it though, to make a flip-flop journal. Oh my gosh, I'm like the worst with direction. So I want to make a flip-flop journal. I have a lot of envelopes. You might know, you might already know that. Anyhow, so my very good friend Kat, hi Kat, had mentioned to me that, have I thought about ever doing a flip-flop journal? Well, I really hadn't, because I really didn't know much about them. I'd seen them, but to be perfectly honest, I've been pretty swamped with trying to just keep up with my own self. So I've been slacking on watching even my favorite YouTubers, but I need to get back to it. So anyhow, so I went and I looked at a few and I was like, I seen the flip-flop and I thought, wow, this looks pretty fun. So then I watched one and I was like, I think I get it. I watched another one. Wait, what? And then I watched another one. Every single person did an amazing flip-flop journal. Amazing. Every single person did it a little bit different. And I get confused very easily, and I see things, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I see things backwards. So instructions, I always feel like it's difficult to explain, but I have a hard time following somebody's direction. And so like even when I go and work out, or has anybody ever done Zumba? I remember doing Zumba, off subject here real quick. I couldn't do it in a class where the lady faced me. She had to have her back to me, and I could watch her in the mirror as I'm watching myself, because I was just too many different reflections and I couldn't figure out what I was doing, and I was always falling into people. Literally, seriously. So anyways, flip-flop journal, back to it. So before I had seen, so I'm like watching these videos and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna turn the videos off. I think I can figure this out. I don't want to cut envelopes up. I decided I didn't want to do all that extra work. I have so many envelopes that I don't need to do that. I think that's why they're doing it first mostly, but possibly also just for the technique. I don't have to cut them up, so I don't want to cut them up because I have, I don't know, 5 million envelopes. So what I did is I went and I grabbed a whole bundle of envelopes and I started putting it together, and then I thought finally, after, I don't know, a dozen tries, no, lots of tries though, I was like, I've got it. So then I went to record and I was explaining it, and I was so mixed up. I thought, nope, ain't gonna happen. So we're gonna do it. This is the paper I'm gonna use. If we get to it today, we're gonna use this paper pad. I'm gonna get it out of my way. That's why I'm jumping ship right now to tell you. We're gonna use this beautiful paper pad because there's so much paper in there to create the journal. And I have a stack of envelopes. So I made myself the skeleton one. I'm gonna call it my skeleton. I guess it's the prototype, but it's my skeleton. I like skeleton. And I have a stack of envelopes right here that should match this skeleton, and that's what we're gonna put together. I have put notes. So anyhow, I hadn't said anything, but Kat, being such a great friend of mine, and she watches enough of my videos, and she probably was like thinking, I wonder if she's getting it. Sent me an email with some information. I think it was an email, and she said that I might want to try checking out this gal, Tina Williams at Rehatched Design. I'm going to link her channel and both the videos that I watch, is a part 1 and a part 2, super easy to follow. I'm going to link that all in the description box because she did exactly what I already wanted to do, which was amazing. As she did not cut up the envelopes. She had plenty to use, and so she calls it, I believe it's how to make a flip-flop journal the easy way. And I was like, bingo. So I watched it. At first I was a little nervous. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know. I've already watched so many different ones, but I was like, hello, hello. So that's what we're going to do. So I, of course, everybody has their own little bit of a take on it. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip through my skeleton, and then I'm going to explain some of my notes. I wrote down notes. So it is a flip-flop journal. And inside this flip-flop journal, it's going to flip open, but there's going to be flaps. So I needed to make sure I understood that concept. Like it flips open like a book, flip, 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 and then within the flip there's flaps. And because it flips and it flaps, it rolls over into a never-ending journal type thing. So like here's the front, you got a page, and then when you get to the back, you have a page. So that's that part. That's all I'm going to show. Oops, that's all I'm going to show you on that at that moment. Okay. So I know the basic concept is we need an accordion style for it to work. And I only wanted to stay within 1 W. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. I'm going to stand up real quick to make sure. So do not, these are my flaps that are you see poking in there. Don't pay attention to those. Those are my flaps. I want you to look at my W. Whoops, I had a W here for a second. Do you see it? My W, or my M, however you're looking at it. That's my accordion. So that is how it opens. So accordion. So there's my accordion. There's the middle of my W, and then my W, and then my W. See how it keeps going? That's the accordion. After I got the accordion together, then I went in and put my flaps. So some people put their flaps in while they're creating it. I am not one of those people. So I will be here for a year trying to figure it out. So I then, after I put my 4 large envelopes together to make that accordion, and we're going to make one together, but before we make it, I just want to lay it out. So I basically, and I have directions that tells me which way to face my envelope and where to lay this down. And honestly, you can do it any way you want. We're going to follow the way I did it so that I don't get confused again. But anyways, you put down 4 envelopes, and these all need to connect. And we're going to use these flaps on the envelopes to connect them. Once they're connected, they would be, you would fold them like an accordion. Get it? So, get it? That's how I opened this, that accordion. So it's just like that. It just opens up continuously. It's a continuous journal. After I got that part together, I had my accordion. Now I can go in with my flaps. And I chose a lot of flaps because I like flapping around, I guess. So I have a few different sizes. I think I have two of this size. Yep, 2 of those. I went and I found one long skinny, and I found a shorter skinny, and then I have a smaller, a small one. So I'm calling these, this is all one, this is a certain style. So I decided I'm gonna name all my envelopes because it's gonna help me with my directions. Tina does mention to label your envelopes, like I think she even said like to name them, like label them like 1, 2, 3, and 4, but front and back for sure. But I went a little bit further for myself, and anybody else that struggles like I do will, I think, might appreciate this. I'm hoping I'm not going to actually confuse you more. No, I'm not. I'm not going to even say that. That is negative. Hello. This is helpful. It's helpful. So I'm gonna go a step further, and I'm gonna label all my envelopes. So I have 4 large envelopes, okay? And those are gonna be what I use to create the accordion style. And then I have 2 medium envelopes. I have 1 small envelope. I have 1 tall skinny, and I have 1 short skinny. That's their names. So these all will have an additional name attached to each one of them. It'll be called, or not the 4, sorry. The flaps will also be called flap. So flap 1, flap 2, flap 3, flap 4, flap 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I named all my envelopes, and so that I can understand my own directions when I'm putting it together. So I know for me, I have my front. Now I'm going to open this all the way up before I put it together. So I have my front, and it's called my smallest envelope, flap number 1. And then when I first started putting my envelopes together, I decided I wanted to write the number on the inside just to keep it a continuous flow of the side that I'm writing the numbers on. So my main four, I have 1, 2, and I have, see this, well, the envelope, I covered it right here, 3, and then 4, and they're all facing the same way just to keep it simple for myself. So then I have my flaps. I have my smallest flap envelope, and I've had that flap number 1. And then when I opened up this, where I can see the inside, I know tall skinny, flap number 2. And then when I opened up that, I did this one so that I would have 2 flaps. So this one opens up, and it's well, it's supposed to say medium. I think it says it on the back side of this, so I should fix that right now. So this is medium envelope, flap number 3. Short, skinny, flap number 4. And then I close that page. And this doesn't even matter which way I close it. Even if I left that open, if I closed this first, it would still work, okay? But anyways, that's another thing. And then when we turn it, we'll see this is the back for me, and I write all my stuff on the inside, and I know that, so I'm gonna look at this. Medium envelope, flap number 5. Then we turn this over, and this is the back side of the that accordion, which gives us a nice place to put a signature in, which we'll talk about that in a second. And then I'm back to the front. So one more time, I know I'm gonna write on the inside, so I got my smallest envelope, flap number 1. And then I have my accordion 1, and then I have accordion 2, which those went together. And in there I put flap number 3, it's tall skinny. When I close that, I have my envelope number 3 and my envelope number 4. And then inside this one I have medium envelope, flap number 3, and I have short skinny, flap number 4. And then when I turn that page, I'm at the back, and that's where I put my final envelope, medium envelope, flap number 5. Now we're gonna put this together. So I think I'm gonna set this aside and work together. So if you have envelopes, it doesn't matter what size they are, name them. If you're gonna name them like I did, just go ahead and name them. Pause the video if you need to, and then get your envelopes named. So here's my large envelopes, just like I said, and I'm gonna face them all the same way to make life easy on myself. And I'm gonna number them as, so these are gonna be number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And that's all they need, because they're the bones. They're the bones to the skeleton. They are the, the actual, this is the insides, these are the bones. I guess this isn't the real insides. I think the insides would be the signatures. Maybe these are the veins. I don't know. So now we're gonna open these. Turn these all this way, because I know I'm gonna write on the inside. I like to write on the inside, so I know what I'm doing. So I know this is gonna be tall skinny for me. And this is gonna be short skinny. I got glue goobers everywhere, sorry. Short skinny, okay? And then I have, this one is the small. I only have one, so I have small. And this is gonna be flap, whoops, I forgot to write, flap number 1. And my flap number 2 is going to be the tall skinny, I believe, isn't it? Let's take a look. Yep, flaps, tall skinny. So flap number 2 is tall skinny. And then, so I have 1 and 2. And then I have my next flap is going to be a medium envelope. And these are my 2 mediums right here. So probably should have just finished that first. So I have medium here and medium envelopes. Sorry, I have an OCD, I think. I have to do that. It's going to be covered up. We don't know. I mean, we're not going to see it anyways. So then I have, so now I have flap number 1 is my small, flap number 2 is my tall skinny, flap number 3 is going to be my medium envelope, flap number 4 is going to be the short skinny. You can put them in any direction you want. I'm going to follow my skeleton that I have. So flap number, because my notes match it, flap number 5. And I want to stay true to exactly that, because this, I think, is where, for me, is where I would get lost in translation, is when someone was explaining, anybody would explain, well, you could also do this. I'm going to try really hard not to do that. It's really easy to do because you see it, and we're creators and we're creative, and that's what we do. So I'm going to try really hard to not do that and just stick within the plan. So I'm going to lay these down, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So first you're going to take your first envelope and you're going to take your tuck, your flap. So, and all we're going to do is we're going to tuck this inside. That's it. So easy. Easy, easy so far, right? Tuck it inside. Facing up, going to the left. So I want my opening to be facing up. This is my opening, right? I want it to face up, and I want it to face to the left because I want to be able to use this as a pocket. So that's my why behind that, okay? Now I'm gonna take my envelope number 2 and I'm gonna open the flap. And I'm gonna lay it down and I'm gonna glue along the glue line. And I'm only going to stay on the glue line because I can always go in later after it's put together. After I have a structure built, I can go in and I can add glue where I want. So all I'm going to do is follow the glue line. I'm going to glue this, and then I'm going to attach it to the back of envelope number 1, which would actually be the front, but it's, as we're laying it down, I'm going to call it the back. So this would be the front. The opening side is going to be the front. This is going to be the back. A little backwards there. Okay. So one of the things that I wasn't doing on mine that I learned from Tina was that making sure, like, so I guess you could probably do it anyway, but if we're going to put signatures in there, just giving ourselves a little bit of room, so not going straight in all the way to that, maybe leaving a little bit of a space. So pro tip for me, what I like to do is I like to go into all my envelopes because I have a hard time seeing that crease. And I want to be able to get as close as I can and be as straight as I can. And I'm not the greatest at either one of those. So I'm going to do this to help me. And I just hold my envelope at the fold, take my pencil or pen, whatever you want, and put the line on there because we're not going to see that later on, so it doesn't matter. I do need a glue book, so there it is. And so I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm actually using my cheapest glue stick because I am going to go in later and I'm going to add more. I'm going to add art glitter glue where I need it in all the seams, and then we're going to be adding more things to it. So like I said, I'm just going to go along the edge, including that glued. It's going to, it'll end up, whoops, is that a fuzzy? I'm so sorry. Okay, that's a sweater fuzzy, I think. I hope. It's not my puppy, but anyways, there we go. My puppy. She's like past teenager stage now. Hold on, I'm gonna get a wipey, and then I think I have just like some stuff attached to this from all the fabrics that I've been tearing, and between that, my dog, and my sweater, and my own shedding, there's just the never-ending hair here. I shouldn't complain. I mean, at least I have it. So there we go. Gotta look on the bright side. So there we go. Now I have it glued. And so I have a hard time seeing myself doing it this way because I'm right-handed. And so I'm gonna just turn it around just to make my life easy. I know what I'm doing here. They're both facing, as long as these are both facing the same way still, and the glue's on the bottom side, I'm just gonna go as close as I can to that edge. And I'm gonna kind of find my sweet spot. I want to see that pencil line. That's all I want to do, just barely see it. And I'm going to try and stay true to that same type of line that I'm making with all of them. It's not going to happen, but I'm going to do my best. It's already a little off. I don't care. That's how I work. I've accepted that about myself, okay? So I did get glue right there, and I don't want it sticking to my mat, so I'm going to erase that off. Oh, that was a horrible sound. Okay, we'll just attach that, get that later. So now I have a number 1 and number 2. Number 3, super easy. Repeat instructions for number 2. And so we're gonna do the same exact thing. So I'm gonna go along this. Well, first I'm gonna make my pencil mark so I can see. And I know I've been practicing with my editing and trying to get my videos shorter for you guys. I'm not going to do that with this one because I don't want to miss a step, or if I say something, or if somebody's like, wait, I wish you wouldn't have done that because there was something I wanted to see. So you get the whole shebang this time. Shebang bang. So we're going to just follow that. And again, I need to turn it upside. So I'm going to go like this, but I got to turn it around so I can see what I'm doing. See, that was the other part that confused me. So I was like, I was getting all twisted up. I hope I'm not twisting you up. And, whoops. And then the other reason why I want to use my cheap glue is because it doesn't stick as well, as fast as my, Scotch Create glue stick, that one. It doesn't do it as fast. And so I can kind of move it a little bit without being too insane. And there we go. You see, they're not fully matching up. That's okay. That's okay. So now I have 1, 2, 3. Yippee-ki-yay. I'm going to do number 4 now. And number 4, we are going to repeat instructions for 2 and 3. So again, I'm going to put my line. And this is where, you know, throughout this whole thing, you know, you can do different things, and I'm not going to mention anything, but you can do different things. And I honestly I was like, oh, maybe I should do something. Like, nope, I'm not going to get tricky. Do not get tricky. That's where I was getting my hang-ups. For me, you might not get them, but I get them. I get hung up all the time. So I'm not getting tricky. So there we go. Took an hour for me to put this thing together and to write notes at the same time. I am staying with it. I'm gonna have a super, super busy week this coming week. So I need to get videos done ahead of time so that you guys always have something. And then again, this is where it goes right here, but I'm going to flip it around so I can see what I'm doing. You'd probably like me to do it on the camera. So I'm just gonna take my envelope, stick it down there. Anyhow, so my schedule of events, do you want to hear them? Probably not while I'm trying to do this, right? All right, so now we have that. And we have the accordion. So did you see how I did that? I'm so sorry, I just did it so fast. So it's just like, you know, over, under, over, under. So then you have there you have it. So there you have the structure. You have the bones to what I'm calling my skeleton flip-flop journal. So I have my bones. Now I'm gonna just decide which one, because it doesn't really matter. I mean, well, I guess it does, because for me it matters because I want to keep all my I have my numbers and I have my things going this way. So sorry about that. I shouldn't be confusing anybody. You can do whatever you want after the fact. I may change my mind on things too. I doubt it. This is confusing to no end. So now my directions, I say on half. We're gonna go to step 2. So that was step 1, was just to get that put together. Step 2 is now we're gonna add our flaps. So if you remember, we have this, and now we have this flap right here. We have this flap right here. We have this flap, and then we have this flap. And then we have this flap here. So, did I get them all? Oh, and then we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 flaps. 5 flaps. 4 structure, 5 flaps. Okay, so now the first flap we're gonna do is we're gonna take the small envelope, flap number 1, and what I wanted to do is I wanted mine to open up this way, and this flap, so your flaps essentially become part of the flip of that page. So whatever that page is, that flip, that's what your flap will be on, okay? So that'll be the flopping part, I guess. I don't know. I think the thing just flops over, so it flips and it flops all the way over, but we have flaps. So I'm calling them flaps. This is the flip-flop-flap. The flippy-flap-flop, whatever. So let's get back to it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take I'm going to slide this underneath envelope number 1, and I'm going to glue it to envelope number 2. This will become part of the first flip, so the beginning page. So remember, I wrote all my numbers on the inside. So if I was to open this up a little bit, it would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you can see those numbers. So when I take my envelope, I'm going to glue this. I'm going to glue that, and I'm going to tuck it underneath number 1. But what it gets glued to is number 2. See? Does that make sense? So that's why my directions say that. So I'm going to now open this up. I'm going to put my pencil mark in, because I do that with every single one. It makes it easier. And honestly, if you want it to pop out a little bit more because you want to be a little bit different, you can. I do that on accident, so you'll see that. I'm not trying to be tricky. It's just that it's just how I am. And I just have to embrace it. So I should just leave this off. So now, once again, I'm going to go along the glue and then down below that a little bit. Whoops, I didn't mean to. Try not to glue your envelopes shut. You may want them shut later, but right now we're going to leave them open because once we close them, we take away our options. And I think I only close one of them completely, I think. So again, making sure I'm on number 1, and I am. I'm going to slide underneath that, and I want to decide where I want to be on this. If I want to be down lower or higher. And I think I actually, and I'm going to glue it to number 2. So, and I think I actually want to be down lower, and I want to leave like a little space down here. So I'm going to turn this way so I can see where my line is. My gosh. Because it's the same rules apply with leaving that little bit of space so that you can get so you can close everything. So you have room to put other things in there and everything closes nicely. See, I'm probably going to have, this one's going to be a little bit of a gap out. And I'm just going to have to deal with it because that's just how I mean, I did the other one the same way. And maybe the first one I can get in closer. I don't know. But it is what it is. I'm stuck down and I'm okay with it. So now I'm going to write down, I know this is the front. We've just done that. We have completed one flap. So now that essentially becomes page number 1, see? So I have a flap, and then I can open that up, and now we're on page 1 and 2. We have a nice spread right here, and so the next thing we're gonna do for our next flap, for me, what I chose was my tall skinny flap number 2. And for flap number 2, we're gonna follow the same rules to attach flap to the front side of number 3. So envelope flops onto number 2. We want this to flop onto number 2. We're going to run the glue down we're going to run our glue stick down the glue line of the envelope. So that means it's going to get glued to the front of number 3. And that's when I seal this envelope. If you don't want to seal the envelope, you could tuck it under here. But see, my skinny is bigger, longer than that one I'm using. So I'm not going to try to do that. Okay? You can also glue it this way instead and have it this way. I don't want to do that. So those are basically the only other options I'm going to give you, just because it all works the same way right now for the same exact thing that we're trying to accomplish here. So I'm taking flap number 2. I'm going to line out my seam right there of the envelope so I can see it. I'm going to drop down some glue stick. I apologize if I'm sounding like so elementary, but I'm explaining this in the way that I would understand it, and oh my gosh. So I apologize. I don't mean to come off as like ridiculously elementary. That is my brain, though. My brain is a little on the elementary side. So now I'm going to take my paper, my envelope. I'm going to take the flap that I opened up my envelope. So I want this little flappy piece to slide under number 2 and attach to number 3. So I'm not even going to worry about where it lands on the inside right now. I'm just concerned about this piece right here and where I want it to go. So how do I want this to be? Like, I'm going to try to get it kind of like in the middle, so it's close to being I don't know what I mean by middle. I mean, I know what I mean. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but so like lined out. I want this. See, I have my envelopes are not getting lined out right there. Very good. That's going to bother my folding. So I'm going to have to pull that out just a tiny bit more. Thank goodness for the cheaper glue stick, because it allows me to do that. I think also being on that sticky, it kind of gave it a little bit more. So there. Now, for whatever reason, my envelopes are doing this thing right here. It could be the way I folded them, but that's just something you address later on. It's just, you know, part of the game. Part of the game. So now we have that. So that one's done. Tall, skinny, flap number 2. We got flap number, so here we go. We got tall, skinny, flap number 2 is down. There you got your spread, number 1, number 2, flap number skinny is down. Then we turn the page. Now we have our spread of 3 and 4, and we are going to now attach flap number 3. So I'm grabbing my medium envelope, flap number 3, and my notes tell me here. So my medium envelope, flap number 3, I'm gonna lay it down on number 3, on this number. So 3 and 3 are gonna go together. So I'm gonna lay it down, closing up number 3's opening. So if you remember when we did flap number 2, I said I didn't care where it landed because this is the one envelope that I'm gonna fully seal up on this side, and that's what we're gonna do with this. So this one, we're doing a little bit different in the fact that we don't have to worry about the line on this one. You can do it if you want. But because I'm actually going to glue this down because it fits within my envelope, as long as yours fits in there, this is what you can do if you wanted like another flap right here. So I wanted this flap, and I'm gonna leave a little border right here for nothing at all at this moment in time, except to have that little border. And you can have it as close to that as you want. You can have it all the way to the edge if you want. But I want to seal this fully up, and this will be covered up later on with paper. But I want that part to be fully closed off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my envelope over. And this is the only one I'm going to glue, I believe, on the outside, not on the glue side. Okay? You with me? Okay, so, and then we'll stick that over there. And then we're going to take this, and then all we're going to do is like close the envelope and then place it where you want. That's it. So easy. So you can be up high, you can be down low, you can be, you know, wherever you want. My goal is to cover that up. So I don't really care where my envelope lands as long as I cover that up. So I'm going to be inside a little bit, about right there, because I don't care if it's like right in the middle. I kind of like it not right in the middle. Like, it's just kind of fun. I mean, I like it either way, honestly. So I'm going to smush that down. And there we go. And medium envelope, but it's upside down. In the writing is, but it's medium envelope. Flap number 3 is on. Now we move on to flap number 2. Let me turn my little notes around. So continuing down, we're going to leave that little space is what I talked about right there, and then making sure it's on number 3 and it fits fully, in making sure it fits fully inside the envelope. That's important. So flap number 4 is this one, and it's the short skinny. So we take the short skinny one, and we're going to follow the rules to the tall skinny flap number 2, but we're going to attach the flap to the back side of number 4, of course. So here's 4. This is the front of 4 because we have the number there, and this is the back of 4. So we're going to follow the same rules as flap number 2, meaning we're going to put the glue down here. We're going to slide it and glue it to the back of number 4 so that it comes in that way. So because we're going to do that and trying to line up with this seam, I'm going to put my pencil mark in there, and I'm going to run my glue along my gluey edge here. Oops, whoopsie. Okay. And this is taking me a lot longer. I'm probably going to, I said I wasn't going to edit anything, but I'm probably going to edit a couple little pieces that I just confused us on a little bit, just to keep us on track. So I'm going to do this. And now this is another thing. You can decide where you want it. Do you want it to be straight across from this? Do your envelopes match anyways? I don't know. Mine don't really. So I'm just going to put this in here, and I have to turn it because I can't see that that line. And I just want it to be, I think I'm going to go close to the bottom on this one. Oh my goodness. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm sorry. I'm going to go closer to the top. I just want some variance. So and then I'm just going to push that down. Whoops. And it's crooked, but that's okay. You know what? It's fine. It's not the end of the world for me. And now we have it on. So now there's our spread. Isn't that cute? Then you're going to turn your page. And we're now on our last flap. So we're going to grab the medium envelope, flap number 5. We're going to fold the flap over skinny flap number 4, using the same rules as the beginning to create the flap on the front cover. The back cover will be the same, meaning that this is the back cover, so we're going to have this, it'll be the same, and then we'll open it up, which is, so you'll see in a second here. So I'm going to take so when I said I'm going to flap it over so this is my flap number 3. I'm going to take my glued piece, I'm gonna glue this down here, and I'm gonna attach mine right here on this, okay? So I can actually do it wherever I want on here. If I wanna come down low here, whoops, geez. If I wanna come down lower to the bottom, I do have to keep in mind that I can't glue this piece right here because otherwise it'll hold that down. Does that make sense? So I wanna stay, I'm gonna choose to stay on my envelope, and then what I also get is, depending on if I colored my papers beforehand or if they were coffee dyed, I'm gonna get this faux envelope look like it's a closed envelope. And my idea, which I'm not supposed to tell you anything right now, but so I'll tell you that later, because I said I wasn't gonna do that. But this is how I'm doing it. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow my rules, and it says, glue, open the flap, lay your glue down along the thing. Make your line, Sandra. So you would think I'd be able to see it, but I truly cannot get in there very good. You can see I'm struggling with the line. So I need this for the glue. So I'm gonna drop my glue down. There we go. And there we go. So I'm linking all the video. I'm linking, there's 2 videos. There's a part 1 and a part 2 that Tina at Rehatched Designs, Tina Williams, that she did. I'm linking them both in this description box, and I'm linking her YouTube channel. So thank you, Kat, for all of that. Thank you, Tina, for all your amazing help. So, and whoops, and you see, I'm not paying attention. I'm not supposed to go all the way to that line. So I'm not supposed to go all the way to that seam. That's what I drew that line for. So I'm gonna just turn it over and then try to lay it back in there again, being a good girl. But of course, now I got it all extra sticky. Anyhow, I'm gonna have all that linked in there. She's pretty cool. She's really fun to watch. She's very informative and really super sweet and nice. I'm so glad that you showed me her channel, Kat. I love it, and I am now a subscriber of hers, and I'm so excited to learn more stuff from her. So anyhow, there we go. I'm gonna put that on there, and I think I was trying to say something and I forgot what I was saying because I was getting all messy. Now we have, this is the back. Okay, perfect. So now we have this down. I am going to do a second video because I want to do another one of us decorating this and putting it together, and I want to put our signatures in. And that was another thing that I loved, is that Tina showed us how to put the signatures in. She sewed them in. And she also uses a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, which I have never done, and I'm going to do that with this. So if you would like to see the 5-hole pamphlet stitch, if you've never done it, or if you have done it but you want to still watch, I'll be showing it. So we have, now we can open up the journal. So we have that page, and that page, and that flippy flap. Closing that up, we open it, and we have that flippy flap, and we have that flippy flap. And then closing those up, and closing the page, we have that flap at the back. And when we close that, we open it up, and then we have another inside pocket there. And that's technically, I guess this would be the back page, honestly. I mean, that's the inside of the back. But when we open it, or close it, and then we have the front again. Do you see? It's just a never-ending journal. It just flips and it flaps. And then that comes out, and that comes out. You can close them like whichever way you want. Doesn't matter who goes first, because they all flip and flap down and open up back again. Yay! Hallelujah! So there you go. I hope you enjoyed watching me put this together, and I hope I was able to help somebody out. And we will get to getting this decorated on the next video, and because I'm also going to be making pockets. All right, so some of these will be pockets because I want to put tags in there. Hope you enjoyed it, my friends. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.